All right, so the last group of artists we're going to look at here, we're interested in appropriating TV footage and making that into their works. So the first artist, Dara Birnbaum. And so you need to watch this stuff to be able to understand. I think it's kind of interesting. She received her degree in architecture, as I mentioned before. Some of the artists left video art and then they went into architecture. Um, and so she's a video artist who started out in the, I think, like early 70s. She was a little bit later. She wasn't, one of the very first, but she's definitely very early on. And she really became known for appropriating TV clips, creating like mashups, and recontextualizing the media's perspective, in particular on women. So her kind of take on it was, you're giving me this image of what I'm supposed to be, and why don't I get to be part of the dialogue? Why can't I say something back? So I'm going to take these images that you're sending to me, and I'm going to mash them up, and I'm going to recontextualize them so that we see it in a different way, and trying to hoping for some kind of conversation that comes out of that. So the piece that I'd like you to watch, and you don't have to watch the whole thing, but at least like the first minute, and then you can kind of skip around, is the technology transformation Wonder Woman. So what she's doing here is she's taking these clips and she's playing them over and over again, and in this sense, like recontextualizing it and using this as her language to kind of emphasize and point things out. So I'd love to hear what you guys get from this. But what I get from a lot of the reappropriation and recontextualizing it is, she's kind of saying like, this is my superhero figure. This is what I get. Like men get all of these other ones, and this is what I get. I mean, look at the kind of costume that she has to wear, and this is what she's supposed to wear. She's supposed to be this like athletic superhero. So I think I get a lot of that from the recontextualization, but also if you watch it, there are these clips when we see her as a normal woman. Superwoman is a normal woman, and she's just like a secretary. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find those right here. She's just like a secretary, and no one is paying attention to her when she's the secretary. So when she looks like a normal woman, and her hair is kind of pinned back and she's wearing glasses and she's wearing her uniform, all the bosses and around her, the men around her, just kind of send her off to the side and aren't really paying attention to her. So the point that I think Dara Birnbaum is also trying to get us to think about is like, why is it that she has to get like highly sexualized and be dressed up and look like this before anyone listens to her? So also on Blackboard is a link to a short interview of her talking about Wonder Woman and talking about the risks that she took getting that footage. So I don't know if you thought about like, how did she get this footage? So watch this little video here, and it's kind of interesting to hear what she had to do and that she was actually taking some risks. One of the other artists that I'd like to mention, it's a couple, married couple, Jennifer and Kevin McCoy. And the piece that I would like you to look at, that I have a link to on Blackboard, is called Every Shot, Every Episode. So in this, they created a database of every shot from 20 episodes from the TV show Starsky and Hutch. And then they were organized by their formal elements. So for example, it's like every long shot, every chase scene. So I'd like you to watch this one and then come back. So what do you get from this? What's the message here? I think the message is that they're breaking this TV show down into a formula. So it's not that original. And I think, the producers would like to sell it as being original, but it's not. That basically we have every, what is it, crazy hair or makeup. We have all of these kind of consistent types of shots that just happen in every single one of the episodes over and over again. So the episodes themselves are really just a formula that they have calculated out for the show. Every gun. So by pointing this out, it's a type of criticism. So they're kind of like Dara Birnbaum. They're taking something out of its natural flow of the narrative and recontextualizing it. So we just see like every time that they have like the low gunshot, we see that every single time. And then we start to realize like, oh, this show is really just based on like one stereotype and a formula. And that's what the recontextualization does. Okay, so make sure you've looked through all of these different pieces. You have the PowerPoint over here. And then in the next video, I'm just going to briefly talk about what I want you to do as a homework after looking at all of these video pieces.